Hello, everybody. My name's Jameson Young. I'm sitting here with Jameson Young.
Jameson Young.
And today
My name is also Jameson Young.
Okay. And today we're going to be talking about Jim Acosta. Is he cool or is he a tool? I don't really like the title. I think it's a little bit exaggerated. Like, I don't know if you have to say he's a tool, but like, he's probably a pretty nice guy. I mean, I'm not
Jim
sure.
Acosta is a nice guy, huh? Jim Acosta is a really lovely person.
He's somewhat good at his job, I think.
He's good at his job, and he's a really nice guy, huh?
Well, I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I'm sure some people like him. I just think sometimes these journalists maybe lean too far one way or another, like a little bit like bent in one ideological direction or another. But
You think
other
he's
than that,
just
I think
bent a
I
little
think
bit in
he's
an
okay.
ideological direction?
I'm sure Jameson disagrees.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that nobody loves Jim Acosta the way he loves Jim Acosta. I think Jim Acosta loves Jim Acosta more than Donald Trump loves Donald Trump.
Yeah, I don't think.
Well,
that's
I
possible.
do, and yes, Jim Acosta is a tool, or like what I like to call, he is a beta bitch boy.
A little bit mean.
Everything's always so mean
Well,
to you.
it's
No,
so
it's
mean.
both him and Don Lemon are little betas. I don't think anybody's going to put on the act saying that they're manly men. He's like the most stereotypical reporter where he's like, oh, this is so-and-so reporting from CNN Live when the camera's on him. Once the camera's off of him, he's like this completely different person. Plus, he like never gives up a chance to like grandstand and act like he's being all noble. And he's like, well, I'm just doing my job. And
Well, he is. He is
and
just
he's
doing
always
his job.
tweeting about how he's, in the face of the administration and all that stuff. I'd like to, before we go on, I want to show you a few clips, a few videos, and a few pictures of Jim Acosta and walk you through them. So here's this one. This is what I'm talking about, him posing for the camera. He always does this. He does this for videos too. He'll see a camera's on him and he'll just like give a pose.
I can't hear you anymore. What's that? I will.
God, I
You
wish
got
I was
it.
that guy yelling.
I will. I'm staying right here. I'm staying right here. I'm staying right here. Thank you very much. If you don't mind, after I'm finished, if Ouija or Hallie or Vivian or one of our female colleagues could go after me, that would be great. Mr. President, just to follow up on these allegations against Brett Kavanaugh.
What does he mean by that? Explain. What does that mean?
I think it would be great if a female.
What does it mean?
reporter-
No, what does it
I think
mean?
It'd be great if a female reporter would ask you a question about this issue. So if you don't mind,
I wouldn't mind
ask-
that at all. No, wouldn't mind it at all.
All right. Just because of the attack of fake news and attacking our network, I just want to ask you, sir.
I'm changing it from fake news, though.
Doesn't that undermine?
Very fake news.
I know, but aren't you?
Go ahead.
Real news, Mr. President. Real news. Aren't you concerned, sir, that you are undermining? Comments about being a nationalist, there is a concern that you are sending coded language or a dog whistle to some Americans out there that what you really mean is that you're a white nationalist.
I never even heard that. I cannot imagine that. You mean I say I'm a nationalist? No, I never heard that theory.
Why the president keeps labeling himself a nationalist is so important. I pressed him on this in the Oval Office, asked him, well, are you trying to say that you're a white nationalist? What about these concerns out there that you're dog whistling to your base, that you're sending coded messages to your base? And he's
Seriously, you really have to love how he just listens to what Trump says. And then he doesn't just report the facts, but he adds to the facts, or he says the facts how he would like to believe him. Well, you see, Trump didn't say white nationalist. He said white nationalist, even though that's not what Trump said. It reminds me of that one New York Times editor, David Brooks, where the Islamic extremist said, we're killing Americans because of Islam. And David Brooks was like, well, they're killing us because they're killing us because we're racist. And it's like, no, they're actually telling us exactly what they're saying, and David Brooks would not listen to it.
Are you being biased? Are you being biased, though? I mean, are you as hard on people as you are on, like, Fox News?
No, I'm not as hard on Fox as I am CNN.
Well, isn't that being kind of biased?
No, it's not biased. It's Fox News is on the right, what MSNBC is on the left. MSNBC does not pretend to be fair and balanced. Fox News on the right does not pretend to be fair and balanced. They're giving their opinion in their right-leaning ways or their left-leaning ways. CNN, I'm harder on them and the people who work there because they, according to them, they're fair and balanced, and obviously they're not.
Okay, well, that makes sense. I want to show you another clip of Jim Acosta. He's in a kind of a heated debate with a White House aide, and we both kind of like it because he's kind of getting owned. So here's the other clip for you guys.
The Statue of Liberty says, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free." It doesn't say anything about speaking English or being able to be a computer programmer. Aren't you trying to change what it means to be an immigrant coming into this country if you're telling them you have to speak English?
Well, first of all, right now, it's a requirement that to be naturalized, you had to speak English. So the notion that speaking English wouldn't be a part of our immigration systems would be actually very ahistorical. Secondly, I don't want to get off into a whole thing about history here, but the Statue of Liberty is a symbol of liberty enlightening the world. It's a symbol of American liberty lighting the world. The poem that you're referring to that was added later is not actually part of the original Statue of Liberty, but more fundamentally, the history. More fundamentally,
you're saying
the
that
history
does not represent.
I'm saying that the notion. I'm saying the notion that I'm saying the notion.
Stephen, I'm sorry.
No,
Jim.
Let me ask you a question.
That sounds like some national park revisionism.
No, what I'm asking you is
the Statue of Liberty
Jim,
has always
Jim,
been
let me ask you a
beacon
question.
of hope to the world.
Jim,
for people to send
Jim, do you believe
people to this country?
Jim,
and they're not always going to speak
Jim,
English, Stephen.
Jim,
they're not
do you
always
believe
going to be highly skilled. They're not always
Jim,
going to be
Jim, I appreciate your speech. Jim, I appreciate your speech. So let's talk about this.
It was a modest.
Jim, let's talk about this. In 1970, when we let in 300,000 people a year, was that violating or not violating the Statue of Liberty law of the land? In the 1990s, when it was 500,000 a year, was it violating or not violating the Statue of Liberty law of the land?
Was it violating?
When it was 700,000 a year. No, tell me what years. Tell me what years. Tell me what years meet. Tell me what years meet Jim Acosta's definition of the Statue of Liberty poem law of the land. So you're saying 1 million a year is the Statue of Liberty number. 900,000 violates it. 800,000 violates it.
You're sort of bringing a
Jim,
press one for English philosophy here to
Jim,
immigration, and that's never been what the United States has been about, Steve.
But you're also your statement's also shockingly ahistorical in another respect too, which is if you look at the history of immigration, it's actually ebbed and flowed. We've had periods of very large waves, followed by periods of less immigration and more immigration, and during we've had
a period of immigration right now. The president wants to build a wall.
Actually,
you want to bring about a sweeping change to
surely, Jim, you
system.
don't actually think that a wall affects green card policy. You couldn't possibly believe that, do you? Actually, the notion that you actually think immigration is at a historic law, the foreign-born population in the United States today, Jim,
Staff on Monday talking about how border crossings.
Do you really? I want to be serious, Jim. Do you really at CNN not know the difference between green card policy and illegal immigration?
And yes, they may learn English as a second language later on in life.
So, but
this
Jim,
whole notion of, well, they could learn, they have to learn English before they get to the United States. Are we just going to bring in people from Great Britain and Australia?
Jim, actually, I have to honestly say, I am shocked at your statement that you think that only people from Great Britain and Australia would know English. It reveals your cosmopolitan bias to a shocking degree that in your mind, this is an amazing moment. This is an amazing moment that you think only people from Great Britain or Australia would speak English is so insulting to millions of hardworking immigrants who do speak English from all over the world. Jim, have you honestly never met an immigrant from another country who speaks English outside of Great Britain and Australia? Is that your personal experience?
Of course there are people who come
but that's not what you said, and it shows your cosmopolitan bias. And I just want to say,
it sounds like you're trying to engineer the racial and ethnic flow of people into this country.
Jim, that is one of the most outrageous, insulting, ignorant, and foolish things you've ever said, and for you that's still a really the notion that you think that this is a racist bill is so wrong and so insulting. Jim, the reality is that the foreign-born population into our country has quadrupled since 1970.
Okay, well, that was a little bit sad. And anyway, our way to go there, Jim. Our YouTube channel, Self-Conflicted, the title doesn't really describe this video too well because we're both kind of in an agreement here, and that
Jim Acosta
is a tool.
He is a punk ass little beta
else to
bitch boy,
say.
along with his little boyfriend Don Lemon. They are